The girl, reminded by her boyfriend, realized that her hair had suddenly grown longer. Upon closer inspection, she confirmed that her hair was indeed growing rapidly. The next day at school, everyone stared at her from behind. It wasn't until Kyoko pointed it out that she noticed the ends of her hair were all curled up. In Black Whirlpool Town, such a change was never a good sign. During a break, Kyoko suggested braiding her hair. Carrie didn't think much of it but didn't notice the strange look in Kyoko's eyes. Shortly after, the braid unraveled on its own, and her hair once again twisted into bizarre shapes. Kyoko gave a mysterious smile. Soon, a monster crawled up to the third-floor window. To everyone's shock, it turned out to be a classmate who had transformed into a snail. Carrie immediately left the school because she knew how her classmate had ended up this way. 2 days earlier, the classmate had started arriving late, his reaction sluggish, and he moved unnaturally slowly during physical education. When his classmates dragged him to the hallway, they discovered a whirlpool mark on his back. The next day, the whirlpool expanded, resembling a snail shell. Another day later, the classmate had fully transformed into a snail. Carrie tried to visit a barber to cut her hair, but she found that her hair seemed alive, resisting the scissors on its own. After returning home, her hair even attacked her in front of her family. Her parents suggested taking her to the hospital, but her younger brother noticed that the hair was just angry. Her father immediately decided not to cut her hair again. Sure enough, her hair quieted down, but at the cost of the family members developing small whirlpools in their eyes. When she returned to school, Carrie unexpectedly became the center of attention. Even though she was already the most popular girl, the attention she received now was far beyond anything before. At first, the teachers weren't affected, but soon they too were engulfed by whirlpools. Kyoko swore she would surpass Carrie. Meanwhile, Carrie suffered from the overwhelming attention. A classmate who had always secretly liked her kept confessing, despite her repeated declarations that she had a boyfriend named Saito. However, Saito was also intentionally avoiding her, trying to escape the whirlpool's influence. The boy continued to pursue Carrie, even throwing himself in front of a car to prove his love. Meanwhile, a couple preparing to elope faced opposition from their families. During their date, they saw two snakes intertwined, which gave them the courage to continue loving each other. Before the school day ended, the parents of the classmate who had turned into a snail came to the school. The school authorities informed them that the giant snail was indeed their son, but by then, he was unrecognizable. A few days later, another giant snail appeared. It was another classmate who had transformed, and the school locked the two snails in a cage, making an even greater mistake. At this point, Kyoko actively approached Carrie. Both of their hairs seemed to have a life of their own and grew wildly. Carrie's hair expanded multiple times, nearly overwhelming her. Kyoko's black hair coiled around Carrie's neck. Carrie's golden hair retaliated, but it lost control and was soon overwhelmed. At the critical moment, Saito appeared and cut Kyoko's hair. However, when he tried to cut Carrie's hair, he was completely consumed by the golden strands. Moments later, scissors emerged from the hair. Saito was unharmed but had cut off all of Carrie's hair. Kyoko, continuing to enjoy the attention, let her hair grow infinitely, eventually exhausting herself and only able to stand by a telephone pole. When Carrie woke up, she discovered that the two snails had escaped, leaving behind numerous eggs. The biology teacher explained that snails were hermaphrodites, and if the eggs were not destroyed, Black Whirlpool Town would be doomed. On the same day, the couple, cornered by their families, began to twist and coil like snakes. Eventually, they swam into the sea. That night, the lighthouse emitted an unusually strong light.